welcome to another edition of the Don't Argue, all thanks to the team at Palmerbet. And the boys are both in white tonight. The legend himself, Kirk Giddy. And look at you, kids. You got the doors wide open there, mate. Just a little zephyr blowing in.
I know,
looks
mate. It's
magnificent.
nice. I'm just up in Brizzy, mate. Been up in Brisbane, up to the head office here where I work at ProTech for a couple of days. Just knocking over a bit of filming, mate. Got something in the pipeline here we have. But very nice weather, mate. There's been a nice little shift, Matty, which little shift in temperature normally means the semi-finals just around the corner. So it's getting close, mate. It's tight. There's been some interesting results.
It's really tight, kids. And we've got a couple of rounds to go, and there's still a couple of spots and positions on that ladder in the final eight makeup. It's going to be a cracking final couple of weeks, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. It'll be interesting. There might be a few players rested this week, but we'll get into the team list soon. But yeah, mate, it's really tight from 8th right through to sort of 12th at the moment. So it's going to be a big few weeks for the likes of Dragons, Broncos, Raiders and Dolphins. I think it might be all racing for that number 8th spot. So a huge couple of weeks coming up.
And don't forget your Newcastle Knights, too, kids.
Yes, of course. The Knights were in there as well. I knew there was 5 teams, yeah. All the Knights, the destiny's still in their hands as well. They got 2 home games actually coming up. So still 2 points off. But, mate, I've looked closely at the for and against, Matty, and it's going to be a bit nasty for a couple, unfortunately. But if there's a couple of big wins, it might turn around.
Yeah, absolutely. I took a little bit of the $9 for the Broncos to sneak in. They need a lot of results to go their way, but I'm keen to have a little play that way. Hey, let's have a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly from last week. Melbourne Storm, kids, they do it again. That is their 5th minor premiership in 9 years. Craig Bellamy, he is an absolute superstar, mate. And just that playing list, kids, to back it up year on year, it is phenomenal, isn't it?
Mate, Matty, unbelievable result over the last, 10 years or 9 years, 5 minor premierships, and the calibre of players that they've had and retired and moved on has been quite remarkable to have 5 minor premierships. It's an absolute credit to Craig Bellamy and the club, the culture they have there, because whether it's a young player that comes to the club, whether it's a middle-aged player who's looking to improve his career, or it's a superstar there, they continue to perform. Number one, they're super disciplined.
Amazing.
And mate, it's the hardest one to win as far as consistency perspective, and being consistent long term over the whole 27 rounds is the challenge. Number one, because of injuries, form, roster, but over to times that by 9 years as well. Yeah. So over a season's hard enough. Be consistent over one season and be the minor premiers, because that you're really demonstrating the most consistent team in the competition. But now to do it over 9 years, and then if you look at Craig Bellamy's 20 plus year career, phenomenal. He's got to be the best in the game, I believe.
Yeah, to do it year on year, kids, I reckon you've absolutely nailed it. It is a phenomenal effort. And, just when you think he's kind of had enough, he'll just re-sign a contract and then he sparks them up again. He's an absolute freak, and he will go down as one of the all-time greats, that is for sure. Hey, the bad, St George Dragons, mate, our man Kyle, fair dinkum, he would have been king of the cat, I reckon, on Sunday, because they missed a huge opportunity to cement themselves into that top 8, kids. They went down to the Sharks, who were very good, might I add, 38-10. The Sharks have just been kind of, I suppose, treading water, I reckon, for mine the last 6 or 8 weeks. But that was a win they needed. And St George now, all of a sudden, just a little bit of pressure on, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure, Matty. It was a great crowd, number one. We always knew it was going to be a big one there at Wynn Stadium, Sunday afternoon footy. I thought it was a huge missed opportunity for the Dragons. They still could have stuck 4 points clear of 9th position, which would have been an important one. Obviously, got the Broncos breathing down their neck, the Knights, the Dolphins, and the Raiders, of course. So, yeah, huge missed opportunity. I just thought, big crowd to continue to stick 4 points clear of that 9th position was a pretty lucrative one, but they couldn't get the job done. A few errors during that game, I thought, and just defensively, struggled with a few of the reads. But the Sharks played well. They were right up for the game. Sharks wanted to try and maintain a spot in the top four, and well done by the Sharks in that one.
Yeah, they were up for the contest.
Pressure's on a bit there now, mate. Pressure's on a bit for the
mate.
Dragons. Because,
I don't want to tip them, to be honest, because I tip them and I'm awesome.
And, mate, they're still 2 points clear, and they've got, obviously, the destiny still in their own hands. If they win both games, no one can catch them. But their for and against is poor, as opposed to the Broncos, who I think Broncos are still in the positives. Dragons are still in roughly 100 negative. So, yeah, they're going to be under pressure if they drop one more, that's for sure.
And look, to be honest, Parramatta's, who they play this week, their form hasn't been too bad in patches. So, it's kind of like a little danger game. So, we're gonna know a hell of a lot more after this weekend. Hey, what about the ugly, bizarre Thursday night footy game? Of course, the West Tigers got the job done over Manly. Have you seen a game like this before, Gids? We had 3 sin bins. The Sea Eagles were down to 12 players. Players coming back onto the field, and then someone sent straight off. It was quite bizarre, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a strange one, mate. Yeah, I think coaching staff have been pretty filthy on that one, having 3 blokes in the sin bin back to back. So it makes it hard when you've only got 12 blokes on the field for 50 minutes of the game, 40 minutes of the game. So it makes it pretty tough. When there's players in the sin bin, your team gets shuffled around and players playing out of position. So a disappointing one for the Eagles, mate, there.
Yeah, absolutely it was. So, our tips last week, kids. 4 out of 8 for mine, big fella. That's a big cross again. Smacking me, mate. I reckon I'll be about 30 behind now. And 5 out of 8 for yourself. Miss Manly, Panthers, Dragons, which to be honest, I think most people last weekend missed all those teams, probably. So, you're not far away, mate.
Not far away, mate. It's been pretty consistent, I'd say, mate, with roughly 5 most weeks. 5, I'd say on average, that is. Not a bad tipping this year. My Gids best bets, disgraceful this year. Disgraceful.
Mate, you normally come good in the back half of the year, Gids, so I'm a little bit concerned because I've been kind of waiting for it. I think the Palmerbet followers have too, but so far, duck eggs, big fella.
Yeah, no, it's been poor, mate, but I think I'll hit my straps during the semis here.
That's what we like to see, mate. 2 rounds to go. Our best bets last week, the Gids get on. Dragon Sharks, mate, you were keen on the Dragons. You were keen on Zach Lomax, anytime try scorer. So none from 2 there, big fella. The Dragons let you down, and so did Lomax. My Matty's must-have last week, I was kind of crowing with about 7 minutes to play in the game. I wasn't early. I thought we were gone, the Bronx. But the 13-plus Broncos.
Pretty keen on that WhatsApp at that stage too.
Mate, and I think I mozzed myself. As soon as I got in the WhatsApp group, go on, don't do it. Early crow. And he's bad. But Adam Reynolds was the get because he doesn't score. As you said last week, he doesn't score out of turn. But he was magnificent. Stags was magnificent. They kind of went back-to-back tries in the space of about 3 minutes, which kind of got me up and about. But, and our punters club, unfortunately, we had 50 units, Storm 13 plus, Broncos 13 plus. We bombed out there with our 50 units on, Gids. So we're going to start. We'll relaunch again. So our moral of the weekend, we'll try and get a little bit of a kitty and a bank up, big fella.
Let's do that, mate. Let's do it.
Righto, let's have a look at this week's round of matches. Some interesting games. It starts off here for mine, Gids. Cowboys Storm, Thursday night, Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Head-to-head, Cowboys $1.25, Melbourne Storm $4. The line here is 12.5. Total points over under 52.5 points. Stats and bets, we like the team at Palmerbet. Cowboys have beaten the Storm by 25 and 30 points in their last 2 games. That is phenomenal. So Cowboys at the line minus 12.5, $1.94. Kyle Felder scored 7 tries in his last 4 games. So anytime try scorer, he's $1.42. And 4 of the last 5 games between the Storm and the Cowboys have gone over the total points. So total points over 52.5, $1.90. $1.99. You combine those 3 in a same game or a same league multi, $4.20. All thanks to Palmerbet. Gids, fair income. When I looked at this price, I thought this is ridiculous. But obviously, everybody off the back of the fact that the Storm are obviously resting a few players heading into the final series, they've sewn up top spot.
Yeah, I think it's pretty lucrative, Matty, to be honest. I mean, all these guys have been training with the Storm throughout the year, so here's their chance. It's a huge opportunity for all the guys who are potentially getting their first grade debut or have been on the fringe for the Melbourne Storm all year or the past couple of years. So, do you think Craig Bellamy's expectation of these guys is going to be any less?
No.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. So
And
four bucks.
the culture at the Storm Gids, you know better than anyone, but it is just bred in them, isn't it? Like their
Yep.
competitiveness and waiting their turn and getting their opportunities and taking them. Mate, I reckon $4 is absolutely ridiculous.
Mate, I'm just looking at the team sheet here. You've got Christian Welsh, who's a rep player and a seasoned campaigner and a great leader. Tyrone Wishart, who's been outstanding as a utility for him. He's starting. Grant Anderson has been awesome this year. He's been playing centres, but he's actually going into halves. Cam Munster still playing at 5'8". Longo, who's been a pocket rocket, who has been coming off the bench on sort of utility 14. He's played a bit of fullback, played a bit of wing. And Pappenhausen, captain fullback. $4.
Oh no, it's stupid.
There's 9 changes
I tell you what
to
I'm
the
doing,
team
Gids.
from last week.
I tell you what I'm doing, Gids. I'm putting this as my lock. This is my lock for the weekend, the Melbourne Storm. I reckon it's a stupid price. They're coming up against a team that's been really inconsistent all year. It's not as if they're setting the world on fire, the Cowboys. And fair dinkum, I reckon the Storm are going to be right up for this because there's going to be a lot of blokes, I reckon, trying to push up and push a spot. So I'm putting them as my lock for the week, big fella, for our punters club as well at $4.
Yeah, no, fair call. Well, mate, I'm just going to back the Storm head to head on this one. $4.
You're
I'll
going
take
Storm
it.
as
Thank
well.
you.
This is great. I love it.
Thank you.
We might even get a better price before Saturday as well. Hey, righto. So we're both on the Storm. Let's move along. Bulldogs, they have been sensational, taking on Manly. Friday, 6 p.m. at the Core Stadium, head-to-head, the Bulldogs $1.60. Manly at $2.34. The line here is 3.5. Total points over under 45.5 points. Stats and bets, the Palmer Bet team like the Manly Seagulls have won 9 of their last 10 games against the Bulldogs. That is a good stat. So Seagulls at the line plus $3.5, $1.90. Bulldogs winger Jabe Carraz has scored 7 tries in his last 7 games. He's in good nick. Anytime try scorer here, $2.50. Tommy Turbo has scored 12 tries in his last 6 games against the Bulldogs. That's 2 a game. That is unbelievable. So anytime try scorer, $1.90. Multi them 3 up, $10. All thanks to Palmerbet Gids. Gee whiz, that first stat there, 9 of the last 10 Manly have won, and the Bulldogs are short enough to win this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into the 9 of the last 10. The Bulldogs have been pretty poor over the last few years. So they're a totally different team this year. So I wouldn't be going too much off that stat. But mate, Bulldogs have been impressive this year, deserve to be where they are. Manly, obviously, mate, disappointing there last week. So it's a tough one to pick. I think this one, I actually think the Dogs might have it over them. They're certainly not going to fear the Eagles coming to a Core Stadium, mate, this week. And they're pretty short favourites. I still think Dogs. I still think Dogs, mate, 1 to 12.
Defensively, they're so good, aren't they? They've been enormous this year. And I think, you're big on defence wins your premierships, defence wins your matches. Canterbury to get the job done, and their supporters are up at about 2, which is great to see. I'm sticking with the Bulldogs too. And Gids, just have a look at that 3-leg same game multi, because that is going to be my Matty's must-have this week. I reckon it's an easy way to go. Feeding him $10, it is sensational. So Jacob Carraz, just an anytime try scorer. Turbo anytime try scorer into Manly at the line. Okay, so Manly at the line plus 3.5, $10. Okay. That is my Matty's must-have. Panthers taking on the Rabbitohs. Friday, 8 p.m. at Panthers Stadium. Who would have thought Panthers got rolled last week, big fella? Head-to-head, Panthers $1.14. The Rabbits at $5.75. The line here is 16.5. Total points over, under 48.5 points. Stats and bets we like at Palmer Bet. Panthers have won 11 of their last 13 games against the Rabbitohs. So Panthers at the line minus 16.5, $1.95. 5 of the last 6 games between the Panthers and the Rabbitohs have gone over the total points. So total points over 48.5. Here's $1.99. And Isaac Targo has scored 4 tries in his last 3 games. Anytime try scorer, he's $2. Multi them up. Gids the 3 of them, and it's $5. All thanks to Palmerbet. Are you with the Panthers to bounce back, big fella?
Oh, 100%, Matty. The Rabbitohs season's been an absolute debacle, really. Considerable thinking about them for a top 4 finish, mate. The Trolls had his meeting with the board there this week. So, yeah, I think it's been a write-off, absolutely write-off this year for the Rabbitohs. And I think, mate, it's rare that the Panthers have 2 losses back-to-back. Very, very rare over the last probably 5 years. So definitely on the Panthers, mate. And a huge one, 13 plus.
Well, they're actually going for 3 on the trot, Gids, because the Storm got
3
them
years.
before. So this is really doesn't happen. And heading into the finals of being so close to the finals, I reckon they're going to want to turn it around. And I reckon they'll make a bit of a statement. And I reckon they'll be 13 plus on with your Gids. They'll get the job done very comfortably. Righto, match of the round. This is going to be huge, I reckon, because it's going to shape a fair bit of this final series. And it's Parramatta taking on St George Dragons, Saturday, 3 p.m. at Combank Stadium. Our man Kyle, he'll be front and centre. He will have front row tickets. Parramatta, $2.25 head-to-head. Dragons, $1.65. The line here is minus 2.5, or 2.5, I should say. Total points over under 52.5 points. Stats and bets we like. Dragons have won their last 7 games against teams outside the top 8. So Dragons to win there, head-to-head, $1.65. Parramatta's last 3 games have gone over the total points. So total points over here is 52.5. That's $1.99. And Dragons winger Christian Tupalutu has scored 8 tries in his last 8 games. So anytime try scorer, he is at $1.67. I think that is, Gids. I just kind of can't see that last little bit. Multi them 3 up, mate, $4.20. I'm going only because I've had something on the Broncos at $9 to make the top 8. I'm going for a little mini upset here in the Parramatta Eels, Gids.
Yeah, I see what you're thinking there, mate. I mean, Dragons huge missed opportunity there, as we spoke about last week. I think they'll respond. But who knows what the Eels are going to toss up? I mean, the Eels have had some great performances this year. They've had a couple of cracking performances where they've just got done right at the back end of the game also and played really well. But I don't know, what sort of attitude and mentality are they going to turn up with this week or over the next couple of rounds? Is it to try and spoil the party of the teams who are pushing for those top 8 spots, potentially? But I think Flano he'll do enough to get these guys up for this week, and they've got a huge amount to play for. So I think they'll respond well enough. And I'm on the Dragons in a tight one, 1-12.
Yeah, it's got to be a tight contest, I reckon, for mine. It's certainly going to be. There's going to be so much interest, I reckon, in this contest over the weekend. That is for sure. Plenty of teams will be watching it. That's for sure. And the Eels have got a chance to, I suppose, shape the 8, finish the season with a bit of a high. So they'll take something out of that. Another interesting game, back-to-back game here. It's the Dolphins taking on the Broncos, Saturday, 5:30 at Suncorp Stadium. The Dolphins have just hit a flat patch. Head-to-head, $2.96. Broncos at $1.40. The line here is 7.5. Total points over under is 50.5 points. Stats and bets we like. The Dolphins have conceded 150 points in their last 4 games. So Broncos here head-to-head just to win $1.40. Katoni Staggs has scored 6 tries in his last 6 games. So Staggs, anytime try scorer, $2.07. That's a ridiculous price.
Looks all right. I like him, Katoni Staggs.
Oh, a good player, mate. Selwyn Cobbo has scored 6 tries in 3 games against the Dolphins. So Cobbo, anytime try scorer, $1.69. Multi them 3 up, $4.75. Which way are you going here? Dolphins to bounce back or Broncos to keep their season faintly alive? And they might know their fate, before they enter the field if St George get the job done.
Well, this Dragons are still going to get the last one done to guarantee them in the final. Kevy came out there last week and said, we'll be in the final. He come out and said, we're going to be in the final. So I think it's a big call knowing that there's still a little bit to play out over the last couple of weeks. Like the confidence from the coach, but look, Dolphins, that's a pretty poor stat, that one there, Matty. Dolphins have conceded 150 points in the last 4 games. They're struggling back into the year here and plummeting pretty quickly. They've still got a little bit to play for themselves, and if they get up these last couple of games, they're still in with the race. But I still think, mate, the Broncos have got a belief and plenty of firepower, mate, to get this one done over the Dolphins. So going to go the Broncos, mate, 13 plus.
Yeah, Broncos to get the job done for mine as well, kids, and just keep that little glimmer of hope for all the Broncos followers that there is a pulse. Hey, Sharks v Warriors, Saturday, 7:35 at Shark Park, head-to-head. The Sharks $1.09, they're impressive last week. Warriors disappointing, 465. The line here is 14.5. Total points over, under 48.5 points. Stats and bets we like. Warriors have lost 8 of their last 9 away games. Sharks here at the line, minus 14.5, so $1.99. Sharks winger, Sammy Stone Street, has scored 5 tries these last 3 games. Anytime try scorer, Stone Street again, $1.56. And the Sharks' last 4 games have gone under the total points, so under 48.5, so $1.83. 3-leg same game multi, 675. Sharks were good last week, kids. They'll bounce back and do it again.
Yeah, I think they looked really impressive there, the Sharks last week. Will Kennedy at the back there played a really strong game. And Braden Trindle back in the halves. I thought he was strong and brought plenty of confidence to the Sharky squad. I see they had a big send-off for Sean Johnson there, who's been an outstanding player and attribute to the game. And congratulations to his career. They had a big send-off at the end of the game. I feel like that was almost the emotional finish, mate, the Warriors' end of the year. So, they'll still want to turn up and play for their supporters back home and out here. But I still felt like that was a bit of an emotional wrap up for the year. Definitely underachieved this year on the back of what they did last year, and especially, Matt, with the sold out home stadiums.
Yes.
Huge, great support, and I think they've taken over. Well, they did take over rugby union for this year, but they'd like to continue, that type of crowd and support next year. But I think the emotions capped off last week with Sean Johnson's last ever home game, mate. I think it'll be a convincing one for the Sharks, 13 plus.
Disappointing year for the Knights. For everything you said, kids, like they've had the crowd support, they've had people up and about. If I was them, I'd cut their break short. I don't know whether they have 6 weeks or whatever they have off. I'd nearly come back a couple of weeks earlier and just actually commit because I reckon they've got a talented list. They just haven't delivered in 2024, which is disappointing. Righto, Sharks get the job done easy for me as well. Knights, Titans, big fella, Sunday, 2 p.m, McDonald Jones Stadium. You will be here front and centre hosting some kind of black type kind of shindig. You'll be leading the charge, mate. Knights, head-to-head, $1.34. Titans at $3.25. The line here is 8.5. Total points over, under is 50.5 points. Stats and bets we like. Knights have won its last 6 home games against the Titans. So Knights just a win, $1.34. Knights winger Fletcher Sharp has scored 5 tries in 3 games at McDonald Jones Stadium. He loves the home deck. Anytime try score here, $1.54. And Titans winger
Cam Pereira
scored 43 tries in 42 NRL games. So anytime try scorer for Cam Pereira, that is $1.51. Multi them 3 up, kids. It's a short way home, $3.50, but you take it. Your Knights, big fella, there's still a pulse.
Mate, I'm on the Mighty Knights this week, Matty. It's a big round 2, second last home game. They've got their Old Boys Day next week, which is the final round of the season. But this is a big one because it's the Knights boys wear the high vis outfit, the high vis, which is representing the mining industry. So it'll be a huge crowd of people who work or supply to the mining industry, and the players are representing the people the members who support the club and the town. So it's always a big one. It's a great turnout, and I think the players are aware of the significance of this game, and they've got to keep getting the job done. They've got to keep getting the job done this week and on Old Boys Day next week against the Dolphins. It is so a huge one. I reckon a convincing one too. Knights 13 plus.
Yeah, I'm happy to be on your Knights, mate, and especially when there is a bit of, significance behind this game too, because proud history, the club, And no doubt that mining industry has been a massive part of that Newcastle Knights outfit from inception. Righto. Roosters, Raiders, Sunday 4:05 at Allianz Stadium, head-to-head. Roosters $1.17. Raiders at $5. The line here is 15.5. Total points over, under 51.5. Stats and bets we like. Roosters are 10 from 10 against teams outside the 8. That's a good stat. So Roosters at the line minus 15.5 $1.90. Roosters have scored 34 or more points in their last 4 games, so scoring machines. So total points over 51.5 $1.90. And Roosters centre Joseph Maughan has scored 7 tries his last 5 games against the Raiders. Manu Maughan. Joey Manu. That was a spelling. I was thinking, who the hell's that?
That's it.
That was a spelling mistake. It wasn't
my
pronunciation.
You got it, mate.
But Joey Manu, anytime try score at $2.12. So 3-leg same game multi, 5.25, all thanks to Palmerbet. JWH just copped a 3-week suspension, Gids. It was his first game back last week. He's such an important player, so he's going to miss the first final, Gids. This is huge.
Yeah, I admire him as a player, that's for sure, and what he's done in the game. But I reckon they'd be a bit filthy on that one. It wasn't. Look, it was high, and he's got a history of it. But 3 weeks leading in, I think they would have accepted his previous ban, but they would have wanted him part of this team. And it's his last season too. It's his last year at the Roosters. But they would have wanted. This would have been the perfect time for him to play last week, last 2 rounds into the semis. But so he's a big loss, especially 3 weeks. He'd be dirty on it himself, and I think the club would be pretty filthy on it as well. You want him to be the player that he's always been, but just got to be careful, hey?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And he's just such an important player. He's the lifeblood of that team. He gets them up and about, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's such a leader, mate. He influences people. He influences the forward pack. He influences the rest of the team, and he puts some intimidation in the opposition. So he's a big loss, especially over these next 3 weeks. I'm on the Roosters. I thought the Raiders were impressive last week against the Panthers, and I think they'll compete this week, but I think the Roosters might just get there 1-12.
Yeah, Roosters to get the job done for mine, Gids. I reckon you're right. I think it's going to be a close enough game. The Raiders have been around the mark all year. It's a kind of a team you don't want to play because their best is good enough, and they've had a wonderful season, and they've still got a little bit of life in the season as well. Right, give us your pick 8, Gids, for the week, big fella.
Right, mate. Can you get the app out, Matty? And,
of course I can.
Punch your knees for me, mate. I'm lacking devices here tonight while I'm working away.
Mate, I'm going to punch this in easy for you. Go. This is how easy it is. Get your phone out and punch them in.
Easy. Go. Mate, pick 8 this week. I'm going to go Storm as the upset there. Dogs, Panthers, the Dragons, the Broncos, the Sharks, the Mighty Knights, and the Roosters to wrap it up.
Righto, Gids, that is going to get our Palmerbet followers. Pick 8, $32.75, big fella. $32.75. Now, I'm going exactly the same. But the only game I'm changing, Gids, is I'm taking the Eels to defeat St. George. Everything else, we're all on the same page this week, and we think that's going to happen. So you're $32.75. Just whacking the Eels in there, that takes us to $44.46. So just a little bit more value, but you know what they say.
Could make it interesting too.
Right, Gids, get on.
Mate.
What do you got
get
for us,
on, mate? I'm going to go, mate. The multi there we heard earlier. Broncos to win. Katoni Staggs selling Cobbo anytime try scorers $4.75.
Love it, mate. Absolutely love it. Stags in great nick. Broncos are in a bit of nick too, I reckon. I know that first 10 minutes that game last week against the Eels, I think there was a few nervous boys, but fair nick. And when they get themselves into gear and into line, they are very, very hard to beat. I told you what I'm doing. I reckon it's as simple as this, and it's a nice little bit of value. So Matty's must have. So Manly at the line, plus 3.5 $1.90. Into Jacob Carraz. Anytime try score at $2.50. Into Tommy Trebojevic, the turbo, anytime try score $1.90. That's going to give you an even $10, Gids. And that is
nice.
easy. And we've been saying it for a long time now, but these stats and bets we like multis have been saluting it, getting 2 out of 3 legs, just missing.
Yeah.
I'm happy to play around that one, big fella, at a nice little price. Now, what's your lock for the week? I said the Storm's mine at $4. What are you thinking?
Knights 13 plus.
Right,
is the lock.
Right,
at home.
Knights.
Yep.
13 plus. So I'm just going to have to key this one in, Gids. We're just going to go back here, and I'm going to put that in. So Knights 13 plus. All right, we're going to have a look at what price that's going to get us. The margin Gids, 220. That's about $8.40, big fella, for our, and we'll have 50 units in our punters club, Gids. All right, this is for our end of season trip, mate. So at the moment we're looking at Cessnock for our end of season trip. But if we can get a little bit in the kick, we might end up in Thailand, Bangla Road. We might end up in Bali.
Yes, please.
All going to be important, all right? So that is our lock. Melbourne Storm lock, Knights 13 plus. And, well, we need a little bit because we didn't start off real well. We're in the negatives.
No. We got it this week.
Listen, mate, 2 rounds to go, Gids. It has been a fantastic season thus far. It is going to be even better these next 6 weeks. I reckon it's going to be absolutely brilliant. Download the Palmer Bet app. Get your punters club happening yourself. Have a heap of fun. There's been plenty of banter going on in a lot of these punters club groups. So just get your mates, download that app. Really simple app to navigate through. As we always say, gamble responsibly, and always think about what you're really gambling with. Gids, you enjoy your little break up in Brisbane, mate. I know we're going to have
working trip, mate. Working trip.
Of course it is. It's
working trip, mate.
No, we're going to have a little catch up,
mate.
Well, we're going to actually meet. We're meeting in Sydney.
That's right.
Next Monday, just to do a little bit of
more quality content, mate. More quality content coming to the viewers.
Can't wait.
Straight into their lap.
I cannot wait.
Looking forward to it, mate.
It is going to be awesome, mate. So make sure you get involved with the team at Palmer Bet. They do a wonderful job, that is for sure. Gids, you have a wonderful weekend, mate. We'll talk next week, buddy.
For sure, Matty. All the best, everyone. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.